Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Pascoe, and this video is all about the 7th chakra, the Crown Chakra. In this video, I will discuss the mind, body, and emotional aspects of the 7th chakra. I will discuss signs of imbalance in that energy, and I will offer holistic strategies if you find yourself out of balance to be able to reestablish balance. The 7th chakra is the Crown Chakra. Its Sanskrit name is Sahasrara, and that means thousandfold. And the symbolism is the 1,000-petal lotus unfolding at one petal at a time. And that represents the energy of infinite possibilities of consciousness. This chakra resides on the top of the head, the crown of the head. And it's related to consciousness, to spirituality, to knowledge and understanding beyond what's capable of the physical body. As all the chakras that we have worked through, they follow along with natural development. Each one develops at a time in a person's life where other mind, body, and emotional aspects are developing. It's one and the same. It's the same energy. The energy of the crown chakra develops in young adulthood. So it develops when all the other chakras are activated and energy is flowing with what their purposes are to serve for that individual. So in young adulthood, you have your complete set of body, emotions, feelings, and thought. And now it goes beyond that to be able to understand on a different level, a more abstract level of understanding, and that includes spirituality. The purpose of the 7th chakra energy is to help that individual establish meaning and purpose in life, to be able to understand it from a different perspective, not simply the nuts and bolts of the living, the how to live, the what you're doing, those kinds of things. It goes beyond that and gives deeper meaning, deeper understanding, meaning, and purpose to that person's life. Because the 7th chakra energy requires the development of all the other energies, it is all energies. It encompasses everything. It's more like an umbrella in that way. It's associated with the element of thought, but also all elements. It's associated with the color of violet or white, but also all colors. It's associated with this, I always include the sense, the primary sense associated with it. And this one is interesting because it's associated with all senses, all 5 physical senses, but also none. And part of that is because it's the energy of consciousness and spirituality beyond the physical body and the physical form. And so one of the ways to activate this energy is through withdrawal of the senses, which is called, in yoga, it's called pratyahara. And that is a level of meditation where you withdraw from everything outside of you, every connection through your senses to what's outside of you, so you can go deeper within and connect on this level of consciousness. So it's associated with all senses and no senses. The body parts that are associated, again, it sits on top of the head, and the energy is moving upward, like the lotus. Imagine those 1,000-petal lotus here, just going into infinite possibilities. But we do primarily associate it with parts of the brain, especially ones that are responsible for the ability to have awareness and consciousness and that higher level understanding capacity. In addition, it would also be associated with the whole body. So it's everything beyond and everything of. With everything of the body, that primarily would be the nervous system, the energetic, electrical current system that makes everything function in the way that it does. A healthy, balanced 7th chakra is bliss. It's pure bliss. It's peacefulness. It's contentment. It's energies flowing through all the other chakras. Because again, this is a structure. So from the root up to the 7th, every other energy's functioning in a state of bliss where you resolve blocks and barriers to the other chakras so that you can experience this bliss. You can tune within where you're not pulled by a specific energy, like an injury or a block where you can't feel a feeling, something like that, or you're not speaking and there's a block in the 5th chakra. So everything is flowing, and then you experience in this state of consciousness or meditation the feeling of bliss. When the 7th chakra is out of balance, on the excess side, it looks like someone that's spiritually obsessed, that is just so overly involved with religion or spiritual life that they can't almost even function on a regular day-to-day basis with just basic human functions. They are just all consumed by this spirituality and their religion. That would be what it would really look like in excess. It could also be just referred to as like a spiritual addiction. And I'll just give a real quick story. I met this woman one time where she discussed how she could no longer go to silent retreats. She became completely addicted to withdrawing from all her senses in these silent retreats. And she would go for weeks on end and then not be working and things like that. She was completely addicted to going into these deep meditations and basically withdrawing from life. So that would look like excess of that 7th chakra energy. Blocks to 7th chakra energy would look like someone that doesn't have any awareness of life beyond their physical form, doesn't have any views on spirituality. And it's never about what the view is. It's that ability to hold space for something beyond this physical and mental life form. So a block and a barrier would be someone that is very isolated, very disconnected from spirituality. It might look like someone that is depressed and completely withdrawn from their life, someone that has apathy, that just has no interest in engaging because they don't have that piece of why. They don't have that answer why. They don't have that sense of meaning or purpose in their life. In that, it can also look like cynicism. It can look like boredom. It can look like just complete withdrawal. The reasons for imbalance can be that that person is in a situation where they're not safe to explore their spirituality and their higher level consciousness, where there's a very rigid, fixed belief system that is imposed on them, and questioning that is forbidden. That would create a block and a barrier. Someone that is with the excess side, the reasons that would happen was someone that had tapped into that and became addicted to that complete withdrawal from their life, just like they would with any other addiction. If they became addicted to drugs or alcohol or something like that, where their mind-body system just completely locks on to that state of being and has no tolerance for an alternative state of being, a conscious living state of being. So those are some reasons why these blocks or excesses can happen in the 7th chakra. As a holistic psychologist, what I would see, what would come in that would indicate a 7th chakra imbalance is essentially what we would refer to as an existential crisis, where someone comes in and they're experiencing a lot of anxiety, isolation, lack of meaning and purpose in their life. And they would present that they just don't understand why they're living, what the meaning of their life is. They can't get connected to seeing any reasons why to continue on with their life. I mean, this obviously shows up at times when people have suicidal thoughts and ideations. So it's really an existential crisis. It's just a complete lack of ability to tap into why, having any meaning or purpose, having any understanding. I have to admit, like, I don't really have someone that's coming in on the other side that they are admitting that they are spiritually addicted and they're diving into that level. I'm sure that happens. That would come into probably maybe someone else's office. But just to be completely honest, I've never had that side come in. I have had a lot of the blocks to the 7th chakra come in, that lack of meaning and purpose, because therapy is a fantastic way to be able to work through that block, to be able to open themselves up to welcome spiritual life in. And sometimes that can happen because they had a falling out with their particular religion. Maybe they had been raised in a particular faith or religion, and they had some conflicts with that as their mind started to develop, and they are coming to terms with how they're going to make peace with that and how that's going to show up in their life with some kind of established balance. As we go through the holistic strategies, as a reminder, if you've watched the other videos, it's always important to have that intention clear. The reason why you're doing these strategies, so that we can completely link it in mind and body to the desired outcome of these interventions. So the intentions for the 7th chakra energy are to create a balance with spirituality, to create an openness and understanding of a spiritual life. And again, there's no specifics. Sometimes that conclusion for some people is that there isn't for them, that they are very much anchored into more of a humanistic or a naturalistic perspective. That still, if there's contentment in it, still creates balance. There's no judgment here whatsoever for any individual. It's to be able to have that in their life and that openness to that in their life. So the intention is to do that, to be open to spirituality and to also be open to finding meaning and purpose in their life. And again, whatever that is anchored into. So those would be the intentions for the interventions that we're going to go through. Now, because the 7th chakra energy is not of the actual physical body, it's beyond that. It's not without it. It can't be. All the other chakras have to be in line. It's just a little bit different of a presentation for the intervention. So I always start with movement. And so movement, of course, is of the physical body. So any movement that's going to align the other chakras, so you have capacity for the 7th, are going to be useful. But specifically for this would be to get in a headstand, to get on the crown chakra. Doing that would be useful to stimulate that energy. It would create, both on a biological level, the blood flow to the parts of the brain that help form consciousness. And then, of course, the sensation on the top of the head, which draws attention there, which can facilitate that energy. On a movement side, again, it can be anything, but then also from the opposite of the headstand perspective would be a Shavasana. Shavasana is that pose that's typically performed at the end of any yoga practice, pretty much with the intention of 7th chakra activation, specifically in the form of surrender. And Shavasana is corpse pose. We just don't like to say it because that's not just the friendliest term, but it is to surrender, to be a corpse, to let go completely of attachment of the physical body, that pratyahara, which is that meditation practice where you are withdrawing from senses. So you kind of surrender all feelings and sounds and sights and everything to go deeper in within yourself to connect on that higher level of consciousness. So from headstand to Shavasana would be useful for movements. As far as breathing practices, it's all breathing practices, because to be able to get into and facilitate balance in the 7th chakra, all the other chakras have to be in balance. So any blocks or barriers that you have on any of the lower chakras, doing breathing practices that are associated with them are going to be useful. All breathing is good for 7th chakra. All meditation is good for 7th chakra, the crown chakra. So any that you're doing, again, that might be specifically aligned with a different chakra to remove that block or barrier so that the energy can flow freely, is going to be useful. But meditation in itself is your practice of reaching a higher level of consciousness. It's letting go of its withdrawal from the senses, and then to move into that deeper space of concentration and then absorption into that experience of what happens there. So all meditations also would be useful for 7th chakra. A mantra that can be useful would be just simply chanting Om, just listening to that sound resonate. Om is believed to be the sound of the creation of the universe. And so anytime someone is chanting Om, they're connecting with source, the original source of life. and therefore that level of consciousness that came with life. We're conscious beings. So chanting Om is a useful meditation practice that you can do, and a mantra that you can do. I often like to add in food or tea that can be associated with these chakras. And with the 7th chakra, it's none. It's fasting. It's clearing out anything from the system, which could be a disruption of the physical body. So for instance, if you eat something and it did not sit well with your digestive system, all your attention's going to go to that. There is not really a chance that you're going to have a quality meditation experience, that you're going to be able to move past that physical sensation that's happening as a result of that food having discomfort in your system. So as far as food, it's none, it's fasting. And that is a practice that's been performed in so many spiritual practices. I was raised Catholic, and so during Lent, there's fasting. There's fasting before you get the ashes on Ash Wednesday, which just happened just a couple days ago. And pretty much any religious affiliation has that element in it. It's to remove those distractions of the human body and make that sacrifice sometimes, as that's how it shows up at times. But so no food, no tea. That's a food intervention there. And of course, if you are going to choose to do fasting to help balance out your 7th chakra, please receive some guidance on that. Just don't go into that. Have some understanding of exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it, that it's going to align actually with your best health practices. As far as activities that you can do to help balance the 7th chakra, meditation being at the top of the list, prayer being at the top of the list, and then of course reading about spirituality. Some people just don't have that opportunity to be exposed to it. They weren't raised in any particular religious environment. They didn't have that offered to them. So reading about different spiritual practices, different religions, can be really helpful to facilitate that energy. Along the same lines of that would be to attend services. If you have ever had a chance to go and sit in a religious service, there's no doubt that there'll be some spiritual quality to that. Whether that aligns with you or not is obviously up to you, but that can be another way to help kind of activate the 7th chakra energy. It's just exposure, just going and having that opportunity to see and feel what that's like. As far as the 5 physical senses, going through these, the sense of sight, again, a lot of times it's withdrawal of the senses. So there's always, in all of these, it's going to be all and or nothing. But particularly because of the color that's associated with the 7th chakra, it might be meditating on a white light or a violet light could be a useful sight related intervention, but then again, also no sight, closing your eyes and turning your attention in, withdrawing from that sense. Same with the sense of sound. So it could be the sense of the sound of Om, again, Om chanting, to be able to let that sound resonate within your being, but also withdrawal from all sounds could be useful. As far as taste, again, because it's fasting, there is no specific taste associated. Same with touch. Although again, with both those, we could say it's all or nothing, because it's all because it's from every chakra, or it's nothing because it's withdrawal from all of them. And with the sense of smell, again, it's the exact same. We do a little bit more for the crown of the head with some scents that are more associated with bringing blood flow there, facilitating neurons to fire, to awaken consciousness, that kind of thing. So as far as scents, lavender is good. I'm going to talk a little more about this at the very end, but I had already alluded to in other videos about the pairing of chakras. And so the 7th chakra and the 1st chakra have a strong relationship. And so some of the oils that are essential oils associated with the 1st chakra can also be useful here as well, like frankincense and myrrh. Myrrh is an essential oil that has a lot of religion, spirituality elements tied to it. So lavender, myrrh, frankincense are all really good ones for the 7th chakra energy, and also none. And then gemstones, same kind of thing. Of course, you can do all. Of course, you can do none. The ones that are in particularly supportive of the 7th chakra energy are amethyst. Amethyst just has that peaceful quality both in mind and body. So it can also be used as kind of to calm down everything of the nervous system, because that's associated with 7th chakra. So you can reach that higher level of consciousness. Clear quartz, because that is believed to clear out any energies that are disruptive, and also amplify. It's often referred to as the amplifier stone, to amplify the energies of any other gemstones that you're using or wearing. And then selenite can be also, because selenite is used as a purification stone. So it is designed to absorb energies, so that then they are not, again, a disruptor to being able to reach this higher level of consciousness. So amethyst, selenite, and clear quartz are useful gemstones here. And then lastly would be the journal prompts. And the journal prompts are super useful because it's like a self-study. It's your time to be able to work through some personal questions and then let whatever arises in your consciousness flow out of you, which might not be available in a lot of times in your life to be able to do that. You might not have the opportunity to have these conversations in a safe way or a useful and productive way. So journaling can provide that. So you can use journal prompts such as, what are my beliefs about God? What are my beliefs about spiritual world and spirituality? It can be, how do I find meaning and purpose in this life? It could be, what beliefs have I had that no longer serve where I'm at in my life, and kind of disrupting old belief patterns that just are no longer relevant at this stage of your life. Because again, 7th chakra is young adulthood. So children won't really be doing this. They don't have the brain development. They don't have the developmental capacity to do this. This is young adults. This is college. This is why I think when kids go to college, it's so great if they have that chance to do some interdisciplinary study and learn some things here, because this is the time their mind is going to be able to really do something with that information productively. They're going to be able to understand it and apply it to their life. So that's the 7th chakra. I did want to take an opportunity in this video to go back through and just highlight about the pairings. So with the 7th chakra, there is a direct relationship between the 1st and the 7th, because the 1st chakra establishes life and the 7th tells you why. It gives you meaning and purpose to that life beyond any other informed energies of the other chakras. It gives that meaning and purpose to why you have this life. The 2nd and the 6th have a relationship. The 2nd chakra brings feeling into your life, which creates creativity and preferences and passions. And the 6th chakra helps you organize that in a productive way. It gives the mental understanding of that creativity to direct it into something like art, and to understand the passions and to have knowledge on that and be able to direct it in a productive way. And then the 3rd and the 5th, because the 3rd is all about courage and autonomy, and the 5th gives voice to that. It gives an outlet for expression to that. So they have that relationship. And then the heart is right in the center. It is the bridge between mind and body. It's essential for all of these to have harmonious relationships. So the chakras are just, I just keep saying this word because it's just so accurate. The chakras are fascinating, and the relationships between them are fascinating. And then the only other thing, I've said this a lot, but I want to just reiterate it. Chakra energy follows natural development. So as long as natural development can occur, the energies are going to be there. But what it offers is an explanation and understanding of the subtleness of some of those energies that can't be explained otherwise. We are energetic beings, can't deny it. But if you have things like feelings like anxiety and depression and isolation and meaninglessness, and your voice is blocked and all these other kinds of things that could happen, a sense of insecurity, those kinds of things, you can't go get a lab test for that. There is no definitive data that's going to say this is what's happening. So having this understanding of these energetic nature of these things helps facilitate self-healing so that you can understand what's going on within your system, where you're not going to find somebody else that can provide a lab that's going to say, oh, I took your blood and you definitely are in an existential crisis. I don't mean to make light of it, but like that, so often people want, like, something's wrong with me, something doesn't feel right, something's out of balance, and they seek assistance in that, and they don't get the answers they want because it's not on that kind of level, it's on an energetic level. And so understanding your chakras, the energy of your chakras, helps facilitate self-healing in that way. You will know what's going on, you'll be able to identify it, and you'll be able to advocate on your own behalf. So that's the last little bit of information I wanted to offer on that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you watch the whole series. I hope you practice the yoga videos that are associated with it, because I think it's beneficial. I put a book recommendation in the 1st chakra conversation video, and I'm going to put another one in this one. So I hope you continue to explore this information, and I hope it serves you well. Thank you for watching.